We're doing the short version of postural preferences. So just sit in your chair, or if you're at home, you could be lying down. And just begin to close your eyes, settle in, follow your breath. Just relaxing and breathing. Feeling the support underneath your hips and pelvis, your back, your feet, the movement of your ribs and your belly when you breathe. And we're going to do super small, slow movements, and sometimes I just want you to guess. It doesn't have to be perfect, it doesn't have to be right. It might be different another time you try this. Just follow the directions and just do what feels right in this moment. So just very gently begin to tilt your head just a teeny bit, like a ½ inch to an inch, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right, and see if you can tell which way's easier. If you were going to just let your head kind of drop, does it just drop easily to the left or to the right? And remember, if it's painful, just imagine. You don't even have to move. So just discover for right now, in this moment, if there's a direction that's just a little bit easier. And then let your head kind of drop to that direction. You don't have to stretch it though, just softly. And then in that direction, whether it's a little left or a little right, begin to turn your head, different than tilting, turn your head a little left and right. So you're tilted one way, and now you're going to explore, when I'm tilted this way, what's the easier way for my head to turn, to rotate? So there's a dropping to the side and a rotation, and just kind of find that and just rest there. And then come back to middle. And then drop to your preferred side and let your head rotate up or down. Come back to the middle. Every once in a while when you come back to the middle, then go the direction to your non-preferred side. So if you were, let's just say you were tilting to the left and turning to the right, then once in a while you would tilt to the right and turn to the left. So kind of the opposite of what today in this moment seems like a postural preference. And then begin to let your head go in the direction that you've just decided for today, for this moment, seems to be the preference. And it might just be a guess, that's okay too. So you drop and you rotate, and then discover, do your shoulders, does one go up and one go down? So usually one shoulder comes up and one shoulder comes down. And just notice with your head tilted and rotated, then just kind of play with one shoulder up, one shoulder down, switch that and decide which of those you have a preference for. So your head goes, your shoulders go. And then you might also notice just a little rotation. So maybe the shoulder that drops down, right? One kind of drops down, one might go up, because you're kind of tilting with your whole spine and trunk, right? And does one shoulder, or maybe both shoulders, go a little forward? Maybe one comes forward and one goes back. Maybe there's a little rotation in your spine. So there's a tilting of your head, a tilting of your spine, and there's also a rotation of your head and a rotation of your spine, and your shoulders just go along. And then you come back up to middle, and you just follow that sequence. So you're discovering this completely unique sequence that's yours. Your head tilts and rotates, your shoulders and trunk tilt and rotate, and you're sort of collapsing in that direction of your preference. And you're coming back up to the middle, and you're kind of exploring that gently again. And then a couple times go the opposite. So your non-preference, your head will tilt the other way, it'll rotate the other way. Your shoulders and trunk will also tilt and rotate. And you might begin to feel like that, yep, that one way I can just collapse that way, and that other way, there's just a little more resistance. You might not feel that. You might feel completely equal both ways, which is wonderful. This is just for your opportunity to really be in your body in a very subtle, learning to listen to those subtle connections ways. And then finally we're going to add the pelvis. So your head tilts and rotates, your shoulders and follow your spine as it tilts and rotates. And then you might notice, does your weight shift to the right or the left on your sits bones? Is there a little more weight through the base of your pelvis on one side or the other? And then again, there might be a rotation. Maybe one knee comes a teeny bit more forward or backward. And then you bring everything up. You get yourself balanced through your pelvis, aligned through your spine, up through your neck and your head. And then little by little, rotate and tilt your head, your shoulders and spine, your pelvis. Exhale, just let yourself collapse. And then even out your pelvis from the base up. Both sits bones, spine elongates, head comes back up on your shoulders. And then maybe you try the other way. The head tilts and rotates. Something happens in the spine. Your weight shifts through your pelvis. And you just feel yourself shifting and lengthening. Sort of collapsing into the direction that's easy, lifting yourself back up and then reversing the direction and seeing if you can feel that very subtle difference. For some of us it's a very obvious difference. It's just very different from person to person. And then at some point just bring yourself to the middle. Kind of know that those little subtle preferences are kind of in there, but you can play with them at any moment. When you're sitting in front of the computer or the TV or the dining room table or your car, all of a sudden you might notice, hey, I'm just a little shifted this way into that postural preference. I think I'll shift the other way. I want to keep my spine, my ribs, my breath, my neck, my head free of this tendency to kind of shift and tighten in this subtle direction that's been happening over decades that I'm usually not even aware of. And then whenever you're ready, just bring yourself upright, gently begin to open your eyes, feel what you're sitting and you're standing and you're walking feel like, and enjoy your day.